Let's transform these basic wicker baskets. First things first is you wipe the Vaseline all around the basket where you do not want the white paint to set. Once it has completely dried, wipe it with a wet cloth, and just like that, the paint should come off where the Vaseline was put on. Simply wrap twine through the base basket and tie a knot. I did it in 3 different corners in a triangle.
First, spray paint your basket in a moss green color. Once the basket is completely dry, take a can of clear spray adhesive and spray a small section on the side of the basket. Take clumps of green moss and press it onto the sticky side of the basket. Continue to press moss onto the sprayed area on the basket. Continue until the base of the basket is covered. You will also want to spray the rim of the basket with clear adhesive and press the moss onto the basket rim edge. Take a clear plastic water tray and press it into the bottom of the basket so it is protected. Start to place the individual plants into the moss-covered basket.
Head to your local thrift store to pick up a woven wicker or rattan basket. Start this project with a paintbrush and some white paint to dry brush all over the basket surface to give it an aged look. Take a longer piece of jute rope and separate the weave on the bottom or cut through it to feed the rope through. Tie a knot on the inner part of the basket. Get battery-operated puck lights with a remote off of Amazon. 2 strips of Gorilla Tape and place the puck light on the inner part of the bottom of the basket.
Take 2 woven tissue boxes and some round puck lights with a remote control. Glue the bottom of a puck light to the inside of a tissue box so it is centered over the hole. Run some hot glue around the top of one of the tissue boxes. Flip the other tissue box upside down and attach it to the glued top of the other box. Hang your new sconce on the wall. Pick up a plant stand dolly that has rotating wheels and locks on those wheels. Take a basket with a bottom that is larger than the plant stand dolly. Using zip ties, attach the dolly to the bottom of the basket at intersecting points on the dolly stand. Once secured, cut off the excess zip ties with scissors.
Here's how I turned this basket into modern home decor. I traced the bottom of the basket on a piece of 1/4-inch plywood and used a jigsaw to cut it out. I sanded the edges and both surfaces. I cut 1-inch dowel into 13-inch lengths and each end was cut at 15 degrees using the miter saw. I attached the legs to the plywood circle evenly spaced and about 2 inches from the edge of the circle. I removed the macrame detail on the basket and I used hot glue to secure the basket to the wood base. I placed a plant inside.
Grab an empty cardboard box and tuck in the side flaps. Take some jute rope, glue, and wrap the entire outside of the box with lengths of rope. Take a decorative towel, sheet, pillowcase, or even a small tablecloth and line the inside of the box.
Step number 1, have this folk art acrylic craft paint. I'm using a dry brush, but I'm going to go in with my brush and we're just going to work on coating the basket. So we have the gray. Now we're going to go in with folk art honeycomb. And I'm just going to take my palette. So we're going to give this a couple moments to dry. And then we're going to take some fun farmhouse style ribbon to attach it to our baskets.
The next time you are at a thrift store, pick up some inexpensive wicker baskets. Dip the paintbrush in the paint and then pounce. Take the brush and lightly brush the paint onto the basket in the main direction of the basket weave. This basket finish looks fantastic, styled with flowers or green plants. Take a wicker basket with a very light finish. Spray paint the basket in light layers with an oil-rubbed bronze color. Let the basket dry completely. Paint in light layers. You will notice that the paint dries very fast between layers because there is actually very little paint used.
I bought these baskets from my local thrift store. We're going to spray paint them to start. I'm going to use a little bit of spray adhesive, but keep the stencil in place so it doesn't shift. I'm going to add a little bit more to add a little more sparkle. I'm going to use the same colors that I used for my fleur-de-lis. I'm going to continue using this metallic paint around the edges just to give this fabric kind of more of an aged look to it. Take this spray adhesive that I'm going to be using to apply the fabric outside to spray this on.
I found this basket for a few dollars, so I'm going to use this round drill bit. To add the lamp, I just need to thread the cord through the hole. Now that I have my pieces cut, I need to join the two together and use a piece of fusing tape and then hold my hot iron on it, and I can slip the cord right through the middle. The next time you're at Walmart, be sure to grab some skewers. I've got 2 hoops here, so I'm going to start with this smaller one. Just going to put some hot glue around the ring like this and stick my skewers right into that and just trim off your skewers like this. I'm just going to keep working my way around now, adding a little bit of glue and adding a few skewers at a time. So to form the sides, I want to use these longer skewers. Just want to cut off these little tips at the bottom. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on these. Now I'm just going to attach them to the base. I'm going to go and start adding the rest of my skewers along here. I'm going to use this to go around the top of the basket, and then I'm also going to go inside the basket. And I'm also going to do the same around the bottom. Stick a couple of handles on either side of the basket.
You want to take your rope, and what you want to do is you want to place a little hot glue on the rope and then start twisting it in on itself. Now what you want to do is you want to just keep wrapping it around. So I'm going to use this as kind of my guide. So we'll just keep going around, hot gluing that. Now we have our base, and we're going to start gluing up from the bottom of the bottle. And then you'll kind of wrap it around the bottle. You want to just, every time you glue it, rotate the bottle so before the glue dries so it doesn't get stuck. You want to take out the bottle and then cut off the rope. And I cut mine at an angle so I can glue it down in. Taking the extra rope that we had, make 2 lines of hot glue. And start with 1 and put another line of hot glue. You want to leave a little bit on the top so it looks like a handle. And then we're just going to cut that off. And then all I did was I glued down the ends. I just cut them at an angle like that to create our other side. That's it for our basket. As you can see, I did 1 more basket. So now we want to take both of our baskets and attach them to the branch. I cut a little bit of cotton twine and then I just doubled it over. You want to loop it under and pull this through. And then you want to do the same thing again. And all we want to do is I just tied these right on to the basket. I took some flowers that I had from the Dollar Tree, and then you just want to put them like that.
We are going to start our project with these plastic garden fences. I got mine at Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by cutting the bottoms off of this. So I'm going to have it overlap, and I'm going to secure these 2 pieces together. I'm going to be using floral wire. Now what we're going to do is we're going to basically connect these on the same place. We are going to take our round piece and we're going to lay it over. Cut right here. Place this over, and we are going to work on attaching this top piece to this bottom piece. Cut off the excess over here. All right, for this next step, we're gonna take our 4th piece of fence. I'm gonna cut down the middle first, and we're gonna cut the spikes off, and we're gonna go straight across. For this piece, cut across this top part. We are just gonna lay them on top of one another, and we're just gonna secure them in place. This is now secured. We are going to attach this piece. We are going to add a coat of Rust-Oleum chalked linen white. All right, so now we've let the paint dry. I'm going to be adding some twine.
We're going to start by taking our paper cup, and you want to put a line of hot glue right around the bottom, and we want to cover up that bottom lip of the cup. And then I'm going to twist my twine up to the next layer. And we want to do the same thing. And I want to take a pair of scissors, and I want to make 7 cuts in my cup from the top all the way down to my twine line. And now that I've got my cuts in, I want to put 1 more layer of twine around the bottom, just a little dab there to hold it in place. And now I want to take my strips and bend them down. And now that I've got my paper cup open, we're going to start weaving our twine. You want to keep going around, 1 on top, 1 behind. And you want to just keep going around keeping those tabs down for now. So I'm gonna trim them off again. It'll just make it easier to keep working. I'm just adding a little dab right there, and I'm gonna put my twine right into that glue and try and cut those pieces as close down to your twine line as possible. We want to go ahead and put a couple of layers of the twine just around to finish that edge off and to cover up that top. Go ahead and put another row on the inside. If there's any areas that you feel like you haven't covered up, run another piece of twine around there. Now we want to go ahead and create a little handle for our basket. So I'm going to take a piece of wire, and then I want to cover my piece of wire with my twine as well. And we want to go ahead and put it onto our basket.